Say hello, George.
Hello, George.
So 2 rivets hold the base on the canister, we figure.
Yep.
So here is the one external filter that sits here, just upline of the check valve at the base of the canister, and that looks iffy, considering that's what they look like brand new. No pressure, George. Don't worry, I'll have better use.
So we pop the rivets out and slowly
I'll add a drum roll to the soundtrack, okay?
Okay. Perfect. There we go. Ta-da and ta-da.
See that bottom sock?
That looks like
Oy.
that looks really, really bad.
Oh boy.
So let's pop that off. There we go.
Nice. What do you think? I think it could be possibly plugged.
It's pretty grimy. Look at that. You could almost peel off the grime.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
Whoa, little lifting.
So
it begs the question: do you need a fuel pump?
well,
Is getting one.
we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, it's 20 years old, right?
20 years old.
There is, whether it needs it or whether it doesn't, is getting it.
It's getting it. That's
Oh, there's a new. That's the one filter inside the housing, and you can see the coupling there where the pump actually sits. George, don't tell them I buggerized your fuel pump, okay? Jesus Christ!
That's our trade secret.
The grief I caused them. I had to end up tapping that fitting right there. Oh my God, we made a mess, but I'll put that in the description.
I think that was it's better than stock right now. All right, so this is the bottom. Line up the curvature with the curvature of the housing.
You're a natural for this, George. You've done this before, haven't you?
Maybe once or twice.
Is that the right orientation?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Because if you look down, see how the spacer melds into the housing, right?
Very good.
Line up your holes. Measure it out first. Make sure you got good penetration. No pun intended.
I'm not touching that one. Very tight. Tight like a tiger.
She's tight.
Yes. Nice. Okay, just start it. Happy? No happy? Start the throttle, George?
Yep.
I think you're hitting the rev limiter. Yeah. Just bring it up slowly. concludes the saga of the Seadoo that refused to run, refused to idle. So you can see why my neighbor George looked at the exterior sock when he first had the pump out. I thought that it looked clean because there doesn't appear to be any debris on the outside. However, on the inside, man, what is that? I don't know. Is that micro bacterial growth in there? Fuel can do that, as I'm sure some of you are aware. Can be a big issue on airplanes. I suppose it can happen in Seadoos. I don't know. This is the one that's on the inside, so it would make sense that the fuel that comes through this, that the particulate would be trapped on the inside. So, was it the filters? Was it the pump? Don't know. In either case, you heard us mention in the video, the fuel pump is 20 years old. It did make sense to change it anyway, but we'll never really know. Is it the filters or just the pump? Maybe a combination of the two, I suppose, is possible, although unlikely. Let's cut these open and get a closer look before we call it a day. I will say thank you to George for not losing his cool when I damaged the fitting. I did break. I wasn't kidding. I did break the fitting, and I ended up. Nobody wants to have to get these tools out, right? I ended up having to cut off the fitting and tap it and rework the mount for the pump, which was unfortunate. That took an extra hour, but these things happen. He didn't lose his cool, so he's a good man, George, my neighbor. Let's cut these open and get a look. Boys, I got a little battery pop up there. Again, really difficult to see. Multiple layers to this. Really difficult to see. Let me change lenses, we'll get a closer look. So there's the weave. As you can see, the inside. Sorry boys, it's difficult to get this to. Like a fibrous mat on the inside. Yeah, I suppose you could pour some fuel through it and see if it would come through at what rate, but really kind of impossible to see by looking at it, isn't it? Okay, so I don't think there's much point in opening that one. I'm sure it will look very similar. I'll open it later anyway, and if there's anything interesting, I'll put it in the description. But I guess that's it, boys. We'll call it a night. Interesting, something a wee bit different. A couple of the fellas were asking for, looking forward to the conclusion, as was I. And nobody more so than my neighbor, believe you me, because he's had that on his hands for a wee while trying to get it sorted in. So we're all happy it's fixed. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Cheers.